Switchcraft is brought to you live 3 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern and on Saturday at whatever time I can get to it. Tune in live over at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. This episode of Switchcraft is brought to you by Northlight36. Support Switchcraft and my other content and get a bonus podcast over at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. If you're looking for other ways to support the show, there are lots of ways that you can do that. Head on over to runjumpstomp.com/thank-you, and there you will be greeted by many, many, many links of different ways to support the show. One way is to head on over to runjumpstomp.com. No, that's not true. Is to go to etsy.com/shop/runjumpstomp. You know what? I don't think I want to do that. Currently, my wife's sewing room is, it's in a shambles because we replaced a window in there and we still have to put up, like, we have to finish the wall. So I don't think I want to send a bunch of business her way and then have her, like, get swamped with a bunch of work to do. So I will talk about that after the siding job is done. I didn't pick a sponsor for today, so I'm just going to go with Amazon Prime. If you're looking for other ways to support the show, there's a lot of ways that you can do that. Head on over to runjumpstomp.com/thank-you, and you'll find lots of links there that will help out the show. One of those links will take you to runjumpstomp.com/Amazon Prime. I've been a user of Amazon Prime for a very, very long time. I'm a huge fan of the service. Not only do you get music, but you also get video, you get free shipping, and you can get a free month of Amazon Prime by following that link. Again, the link is runjumpstomp.com/Amazon Prime, and you get a free month of Twitch Prime along with that, which you can then use to sub to whatever channel you choose. So one last time, runjumpstomp.com/Amazon Prime. There we go. Who says I need to have the ads written down? Hey, Big B, what's up, man? You know, I didn't even say hello to people. Look at all these people. You guys are great. Stick around, and I'll shout you out at the end. Actually, if you want to be shouted out at the end of the show, then let me remove all. Just type exclamation point here. Actually, is that turned on? There we go. Type exclamation point here, and at the end of the show, I'll shout out your name as a thank you for being here for the live show. You guys are awesome. Okay. That way we can avoid shouting out the bots, because Twitch has a problem with bots, and I don't know what the heck is going on there. All right. We've got the intro and stuff out of the way. It's time to start recording the actual news. And we're going to start with Telltale. Let me grab a drink first. Oh, yeah. And if you didn't know, you can put like a little comment there, like Kodiak Moonwolf did. He put exclamation point here and then a message, and then I'll see that message when I do it. All right. Well, you know, I kind of struggled on whether I was going to talk about this on Switchcraft or if I was going to save it for the patron podcast. For those of you that don't know, I have a podcast that is just for patrons, and it's basically things that don't fit on Switchcraft for one reason or another. And I was struggling as to whether or not I would talk about this story on the patron podcast or on Switchcraft proper. And I figured, because these games are available on the Nintendo Switch, I thought that it would be a good that Switchcraft would be a good fit for a place to talk about the fact that, you know, Telltale is going through some serious problems. And if you don't know about this, basically they're shutting down, and you know, there's been a lot of reports back and forth about excuse me, what exactly is happening. People were saying that they're shutting down completely. People were saying that they were keeping a skeleton crew on. Some people were saying that Walking Dead was dead and others were saying no, that they're staying on to finish that and then it's dead. And between all of that stuff, the real concern is the fact that there are people who worked at Telltale, and yeah, it's possible that we might not get the finale to the Walking Dead Telltale game. But the bigger story is the fact that these are a bunch of people who are losing their jobs, and that sucks. That really sucks for them. I feel really, really bad for them. And the whole way that Telltale kind of handled this is not great. I mean, they didn't give people any notice. They're getting sued for a class action lawsuit because of this. Former employees are saying that the layoffs violated federal and state WARN laws. I guess a WARN law is where you have to give notice to fire employees without cause. And this is part of the WARN Act, and I guess it's 60 days. This law started in 1988, and it says that basically you have to give 60 days of notice before you fire somebody if they don't do anything wrong. And I guess that a lot of I guess that the people who worked there, they didn't do anything wrong, and yet they lost their jobs. And I can understand how Telltale, I can understand how they can look at this and say, look, we ran out of money. What do you expect us to do? We can't pay people for 60 days to do something that we just don't have the money for. We don't have the money to continue paying them. What are we supposed to do? But I mean, look, I've never worked in the video game industry. I've never worked at a company like that. Although, at one point I did have a job, and I worked at an ISP, and I got laid off that day. And I didn't get 60 days notice. Maybe that's just a California thing. I don't know. But I didn't get 60 days notice. And me and the other people who got laid off didn't do anything wrong. They just didn't have the money to pay us. And so I'm a little sympathetic towards Telltale for this. But I don't think that the closing of this should come as a surprise to the people who were in charge over there. It's just really, I don't know. This is all around a really bad situation. Now, for the people who are really big fans of Telltale and are upset that they're going to be losing out on seeing the end of The Walking Dead, which by all accounts is fantastic. I played episode 1 of the first season, and I really enjoyed it, and I liked the way that they were doing it, but I didn't keep playing the game, mostly because other shiny things distracted me. I remember very vividly, I was watching somebody stream on Twitch. It was Aurora Peachy, who, if you don't follow her on Twitch, you absolutely should. She plays lots of stuff, including some Nintendo stuff, and that's Aurora_Peachy over at Twitch. And if you go there and check out her stream, make sure that you tell her that RJS says hi. But I was watching her stream, but I think it was like an episode finale for one of the seasons or something like that. And I remember watching it, and I was like, well, I'm never going to get to play this game because I don't have enough time to get into it. And I was watching, and like the end of the thing happened, and I was like, oh my God, like it was really good to watch. And I can't imagine how awesome it must have been after having played the game a whole bunch. So it's a real shame that Telltale is closing their doors. But there's a glimmer of hope. Unfortunately, there's a couple glimmers of hope. If you're just a fan of the game, then there's a glimmer of hope because Telltale has said, and I don't have this added to the show notes, it's just something I read at lunch today, but Telltale has said that they're in talks with companies that want to pick up where they left off, because it's not like Telltale is just saying, we don't feel like doing this anymore. The business is closing because they don't have the money to keep running. So there are companies out there that are saying, we'll pick it up from you and keep running with it if you'll sell us the rights to it. And so hopefully that happens, and hopefully it's a good company and not, you know, somebody like EA who will drop in microtransactions to get the green hat for Glenn. You know, it's $5.99 and you can get a chest and maybe it'll have the green hat or whatever. I don't know. The other glimmer of hope is for the employees that work at Telltale. Past couple days, I've seen so much of people saying, of big development studios saying, hey, Telltale employees, we are hiring. Make sure that you get a hold of us. Make sure that you come to this location and talk to us. Make sure that you let us know that you want to come work here. And that's because I think that they know that the people who worked at Telltale were doing they were doing really great work. And there was something there pretty much for everybody. Like the Back to the Future game, like I have a buddy who absolutely adored the Back to the Future game. The Walking Dead, they had the Game of Thrones, they had the oh god, I can't remember the Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, the Wolf thing. I want to say Wolf of Wall Street, but that's that Leonardo DiCaprio movie. Somebody in chat will tell me what it is, but they had a lot of variety out there. They had the Minecraft story mode, which my son loved that game, and it's a shame that we're not going to get this stuff anymore. Thank you, Kodiak Moon. Of course, it's Kodiak Moonwolf. It's the Wolf Among Us. Thank you, Too Lazy in chat for letting me know. That's right, Lego Lawyer. They had Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, they had a lot of really interesting properties that they were working on, and it's a shame that they're closing. But there's those two glimmers of hope. One, that those people are getting job offers like crazy. I hope it's not just like marketing. Like I hope that they're actually going to be getting hired by these companies. And secondly, that maybe some other company is going to pick up and run the way that Telltale was carrying the ball, because I don't think there's much else in the marketplace that is of this genre, if that makes any sense. And I hope that it continues, because right now there's not a lot of point and click adventures out there. And while a point and click adventure doesn't sound very fun, Telltale found a way to make the storytelling worth the price of entry of playing a point and click adventure, as somebody who's not a huge fan of those types of games. Let's see what chat is saying here. Aren't they making Minecraft story for Netflix? I don't know anything about that. Rock Roller 1UP. Thank you for letting me know. Big B 013 says, I feel like they oversaturated their own genre. It's almost like, and I think I read somebody said this maybe on Resetera, but I think somebody said this is very similar to what happened with the Plastic Instruments craze back on the last generation with the 360 and PS3, where, you know, they had Rock Band, and then the next year they had the next Rock Band, and then the next one, and then Beatles Rock Band, and Red Hot Chili Peppers Rock Band, and the Monkees Rock Band, and then Guitar Hero 1 through 28. They oversaturated the genre really fast, and it seems like maybe that's what happened here. Fisto says that Lucas Interactive was your favorite point and click developer growing up. Yeah, they had some really cool games. But anyway, you know, if you were a big fan of the Telltale games, I'm very curious as to which one was your favorite. So please let me know. There's lots of ways that you can get a hold of me. You can email me, Bill at runjumpstomp.com. You can call and leave a voicemail at 260-RUN-JUMP. You can get a hold of me on Twitter, or you can join our Discord over at runjumpstomp.com/Discord. Okay, let's talk about data mining. Hey, Crazy Chazy. I think I said that right. I could be wrong. And Big B, that's a good point. Without these games, maybe people will get excited for them again. I didn't know Broken Age was a point and click adventure. I haven't played it. All right. Next story. All right, the next thing that I want to talk about is data mining. There's this Reddit post that I saw this morning, and I kind of ignored it because it's just a rumor and kind of has I wouldn't say a misleading title, but there's a data miner who was looking through some of the stuff on the Switch, and they discovered entries for NES, Super NES, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, N64, Game Boy Advanced, and DS, and in quotes other titles in the Switch eShop. So of course everybody jumped to the conclusion that that means, yay, we're getting all of these things on the Switch. But there was Bodakuga, who is a Reddit user, points out something like I didn't think that this was something that we were getting. We're certainly not going to get all these things right now, and even if we were, Nintendo would not telegraph it quite this fast with all those things at once. They would slowly add them in. But this is in JSON, which I guess is some kind of, I don't know, programming language or something. And Bodakuga on Reddit says, this means nothing. The same JSON structure is used for the 3DS eShop. And then they have the source. And it says, notice how the 3DS has the same folders for N64 and DS, even though there's no virtual console for those systems. So what does this mean? Basically, it just means that they had an existing folder structure, and they decided to throw all that stuff in there. They probably copied it from a template. So I don't see it's a data structure. Thank you, Pudding. I don't think that this means we're getting Virtual Console for the Nintendo Switch. They've basically said we're not getting Virtual Console for the Nintendo Switch. We're done with Virtual Console, and we're going to be moving on to the Nintendo Switch Online. Do I think that at some point we'll get Super Nintendo games, Game Boy Color games, N64 games, etc.? I think probably we'll get the etc. We'll probably get a bunch of those different stuff. I don't foresee that Nintendo is going to stick with just NES games for the entire life of this cycle. Yes, there's a lot of NES games out there, but there's not a lot of great NES games. A lot of them were okay. None of them, well, I won't say none of them, but many of them were less than optimal. So I think that Nintendo has to bring forward stuff from their other series, and I think it's only a matter of time. But just because there's some JSON stuff that's sitting there on the system, that doesn't mean anything. Coders copy and paste stuff all the time and then change it to make it fit or to make it work. And my guess is somebody looked at the JSON data structure and copied that over to the Switch because it was easier than typing a bunch of other crap. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a programmer, but I wouldn't get excited over this JSON stuff. Something else that I want to say that people shouldn't be getting excited about is this report from Business Insider that this is almost adorable, really. That Sony is no longer going to compete with Nintendo over handheld gaming consoles. I don't know. I was surprised to think that they hadn't already announced that the Vita was dead. Like, this is really hilarious to me. This comes from a story over on Business Insider, and basically they're saying in Japan, we will manufacture the PlayStation Vita until 2019. From there, the shipping will end. That was from the Senior Vice President Hiroyuki Oda. Sorry about your name, dude. And then when this was an interview with Famitsu, they also said, we do not have any plans regarding a new handheld device. So I love that Business Insider says that this is a pretty big deal. Like right here, they say this is a pretty big deal. It means Nintendo is the only company left making handheld game consoles. I don't see it as a big deal because when was the last time you heard of somebody going out and buying a Vita? Like, I was surprised to hear that the Vita was still being manufactured today. That was very surprising to me. And I'm not sitting here being a Nintendo fanboy, okay? And am I a big fan of Nintendo? Yes. But I'm not being a Nintendo fanboy to say that the Vita has been effectively dead for quite a long time now. I was surprised to find out that it's still going at all. And for the last 15 years, Sony has been the only competition for Nintendo other than cell phones. Now, the one thing that I am surprised about is the fact that, well, okay, if they're telling the truth, and yeah, if they're telling the truth, I'm surprised that Sony is not making a competitor to the Switch. That would be surprising to me. It would be surprising to me if Sony doesn't bring out a Vita 2 or whatever that they want to call it. I would not be so surprised about Microsoft not bringing out a portable, but I would be surprised that if Sony doesn't bring out a portable system to compete with the Switch, just because I think it's clear that the Switch is doing things right. But just because Sony says that they're not going to bring a new system out, that doesn't mean that they aren't going to. That doesn't mean I cannot tell you the number of times that I have sat there and heard a video game company or a technology company say straight up, right to your faces, we're not doing X, we're not doing Y, we're not doing Z, and then at the next announcement, hey everybody, here's X, Y, and Z. I can't tell you the number of times that I've seen a game company do something like that. And I'm not even going to try and list off examples. Diablo, iPhone, all of these things are examples of this. So the idea that Sony is exiting the portable market, well, yeah, they're not making Vitas anymore. I was surprised that they still were. And I don't know, man. Who cares? Because there are no, I'm going to tick off some people, but I don't think that there's a lot of people out there going into GameStop every day and saying, hey, you got any of them Vitas? Are you somebody who still, or who was looking forward to buying a Vita in 2018? Somehow I doubt it. Of course, this is kind of a self-selecting prophecy because I'm asking a bunch of people who listen to a Nintendo podcast. Cocoa Pops 19. Hunter 0625, thank you very much for the follow. High five. Kodiak Moonwolf is rushing through to change his password. Kodiak, that's good stuff. Cocoa Pops 19. I'm glad that your password wasn't anything embarrassing. Did you change it to Cocoa Pops 20? I'm just curious. That's good stuff, man. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. All right. The rest of this is going to be lightning round. All right. Let's take the rest of these stories and throw them in the lightning round because I can't believe I talked for 20 minutes about just two things. Sometimes I need somebody to just tell me to shut up. All right. So first off, I found this pretty interesting. Ubisoft is or is it Ubisoft? You can be the judge. They are launching a game, which I know that there are people in my Discord community that are going to laugh at me because I have said many times that Monopoly is a garbage game and I have no interest in playing it. But Ubisoft is launching Hasbro Game Night on the Nintendo Switch on October 30th. And I don't care about Monopoly as being part of it. I only care a little bit that Risk is part of it. But what I really care about is Trivial Pursuit. That is exciting to me. Trivial Pursuit is a really fun game, especially if you are a nerd. And I am a big nerd. So Trivial Pursuit sounds cool. And why would I want Trivial Pursuit on a video game? Well, because you can easily update the questions and can constantly have new questions. And it says that the game is going to have 1,800 up-to-date questions, 650 kid-friendly questions, and I bet that they will sell DLC every single year where you can get new questions. That sounds really cool. I don't know if I'll buy it day one, but it's probably something that I will eventually pick up. And this is a little funny. I feel really bad for the people who went out and bought Monopoly for the Switch because now you can get it along with Risk and Trivial Pursuit. I don't know what the price is. I'm looking right now and it does not say the price on here. Clicking on the source, which is over at Ubisoft's website. And no, they don't have a price on here yet, but you know, I think it'll probably be somewhere between $20 and $30. At least that's what I would guess. I'm willing to be wrong about that. The next story is that Arena of Valor servers are now live. I got an email this morning from them saying that the servers are live, so you can play that game now. Make sure you check it out. That's a really fun MOBA. Yes, Ojo made this really interesting projector for your Nintendo Switch. I wrote to him and asked if I could get a review copy. I never heard back from him, and that's okay. Not a big deal. Oh, big thanks to Deadlock for the Arena of Valor thing in the Discord. But the Fresh Maker posted that Yes Ojo, which is a terrible name, they posted this in our community Discord, that they are going to be selling a Switch speaker dock, which looks really interesting. I like the way it looks. It comes in a couple different colors. You can slap your Switch into it. It's got a big battery, which will charge it. And while it's charging it, you also have better sound. My only issue is that it's straight up and down on the front instead of tilted back. That seems to be an issue for me. But overall, I think it looks kind of cool. I don't know that I would buy one because their projector was really, really expensive. It was almost $400 for the projector when that came out. So I expect this to be pretty expensive. I don't expect it to be $379 expensive because it's not a projector. It's just a set of speakers and a battery. But it looks compact. It looks well designed, and I think it looks neat. I'm very interested in that, and I just closed my show notes. So let me open those back up. Sometimes I'm such a dummy. All right, history. There we go. And then back. There we go. All right. Nintendo won a whole bunch of stuff at the Tokyo Game Show Awards for 2018. This was a little surprising to me. They won for Mario Odyssey. They won for Breath of the Wild. Did they not have a Tokyo Game Show last year to give awards for this stuff? Very surprising to me. It won the 2017 Game of the Year Games Awards, and this year's Global Award for Best Japanese Product. I don't get why that was this year. Like, that should have been last year. But they won a bunch of stuff, and there's a link in the show notes if you want to check that out. I'm not going to sit here and list off all the awards, but hey, good on you, Nintendo. Finally, Nintendo of America just tweeted, well, not just, but earlier, they tweeted that there are only 4 days left before Dragalia Lost comes out, And I guess that there was a story, or not a story, but a video from Game Explain where they show like footage. This, for if you've forgotten, this is the cell phone RPG. I don't know much about it other than it looks like a gacha game, and I'm not really interested in gacha games, but gacha games are free, so I'll try it, and I will probably delete it pretty quickly after that. But only 4 days away, that actually kind of snuck up on me. I didn't realize how close we were to the release date of Dragalia Lost. All right. If it's as simple as Jackbox interface, I'm in. Oh, I get it. You're talking about Trivial Pursuit. I got you. All right. It's time to wrap up the show because I got stuff to do. I got to go help my son with his homework. All right, everybody. It's time to wrap up the show. Before I get out of here, first off, I want to thank Lore Ray, the Franklin 27, Spidey Noir for their reviews on Apple Podcasts. This really, really helps. If you have access to an Apple device and you want to help out the show at no cost to you, reviewing the show on Apple Podcasts is a big help to us. So please do that. 5 stars would be appreciated. Also, I want to say that Saturday is my wife's birthday. So I am going to be busy that day. But luckily for me, a very good friend of mine and co-host of one of my other podcasts, 78 Degrees, Richard and I got together. He had just gotten back from EGX, and we talked all about how Nintendo did at EGX, and I recorded that, and it's going to be in Saturday's episode, so there won't be a live show that day. But you'll still be able to get 3 episodes this week. If anything big happens between Thursday this week and Tuesday next week, I obviously won't be able to cover it. But I'm sure you guys understand. It's my wife's birthday, and we got to go do something cool. So anyway, we got that out of the way, and let's see, music for today's episode. I don't even know what I'm going to pick. I will pick something by. I'm trying to look and see who do we have to listen to. We will say something by Tony Lays. Something by Tony Lays. And if you want to check out whatever song it is that I played on today's episode because I forgot to plan ahead, you can find a link to Tony's stuff over at runjumpstomp.com/music. Again, that's runjumpstomp.com/music. Make sure that you pick up some of their music if you like it, because he's incredibly talented, does a lot of Sega-themed stuff, but he's still really awesome. Don't forget that if you want to watch the full show, you can do so live over at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. If you can't watch the live show because you're busy, I totally understand. You can watch it after the fact over on my YouTube channel. Again, Run Jump Stomp. And if you're looking to support my content, there's many ways that you can do that. You can find all those ways over at runjumpstomp.com/thank-you. And a big thank you to everybody who's already supported the show in one way or another. And we've got the live chat here. If you want me to shout you out in the live chat, then all you got to do is type !here, and you'll go into like a little list, just like Pudding did. Kodiak Moonwolf, he said Switchcraft is awesome. We've got Lego Lawyer is here. Rock Roller 1-Up, Fisto, Crazy Legs 15, Big B 013. And it looks like those are the only people that want to shout out. Oh, there goes Mikey B Playing, who recently won a $10 off coupon for my merch shop, which you can find over at runjumpstomp.threadless.com. I have t-shirts and cool stuff like that, so make sure you check that stuff out. Anyway, you guys are awesome for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.